Episode number 35. Speaking of the signs of a wise man, often asked. Slokas we have said are the summary of Gita and all scriptures. So we recommend and we have recommended to the devotees who listen to us. In my last 30 years, I recommend and put stress on it that we memorize these 18 slokas. In the war of Mahabharata, the battle lasted 18 days. This scripture, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, has 18 chapters. And in chapter 2, we are recommending these 18 slokas, which describe all the wisdom that ever there was or there will be that we need to focus on. Last episode, we talked about desires. The worldly people do not like to hear to control the desires because we are living a life of uncontrolled desires, unlimited desires. Just go for it, period. Whatever you see, run for it. Unfortunately, our love, particularly for money which we need to fulfill our desire for flesh, a recent actual incident, one of the devotee, rather young man, came to see me. He has heard Gita, fortunately, from his high school days. He graduated and got a degree in electronics, computer sciences. Then he found a nice job in Bay Area. He is married, quite satisfied. The company is small and doing well. Necessarily is doing well to be able to purchase a home in Bay Area, as you know how difficult and expensive it is to buy property, which he has managed. Obviously has a good job, married, his wife is also working, wife has to work. There is no end to our desire for money, and everything is going fine, and all of a sudden certain things strikes. The market collapses, the stock market goes down. These young people were fed in their head by these so-called universities and the teachers that money is the goal of all our education and our degrees. So the young people want to become millionaire as fast as they can. By the age of 30, some of them have told me that if we are not millionaire by age of 30, we have lost the life. Let's meditate on these things. What's going on here? These are the educated people we are talking about. People educated in Stanford and Berkeley, in Harvards and MITs, and Columbias and Oxfords, and all large universities. Education. So this boy, or I call him a boy, is about age of 30, 28 or 29. These people who want to become rich so soon are also getting bored with the type of work they are doing, yet they want money. They buy big homes and big cars, so they are already stuck with payments. So even if they are bored, now they have to work. As we have said, these desires have made us slave. There is no freedom. Hardly you have a time to go to big basin and enjoy half a day, or go to a nearby park and lake to walk walk around, have a little picnic and enjoy yourself, the clear sky and ducks floating in the water. No, no, we don't have time. We have to work 15 hours. Now with computers, we have to work even at home. And if you are connected with Hong Kong, you have to work midnight because there is a midday there. So we have lost the sense of time only now. If we are working with a company in Hong Kong, we don't know what is day and what is night here in California, and vice versa. Desires, desires, desires. So the universities are also feeding that even if you have technical things, what happens? That has burst. Not all companies have failed. Some of them are struggling. They are on the verge of failing, but they are not. And they have kept this gentleman I am talking about. He has the same job, and he doesn't feel that there is a danger of losing the job. But he told me that when I asked him, how are you doing, what is your company doing, what is happening in California, in Silicon Valley, of course I roam around and from Texas to here to Missouri or Illinois or but I have a technical job and I am getting bored. I don't see the progress. I don't see I will be advancing too much. In 3 years, I see my limitations. I'm only making 100,000 a year. I don't know when I will become a millionaire. I know my friends are becoming millionaires. They're approaching that, and I am left behind. Bill Gates is too far ahead of me, and only yesterday the newspaper and magazines have published the list of 25 most rich men in the world. Bill Gates always standing still on the top, they say. I read it. We are feeding all these things to the young people. Who are the millionaires? Who are the rich people in the world? And who are the 10 most rich people in Silicon Valley? Keep feeding these things to our young people who are most rich people, rather than we should have said who are the most poor, so that we can think about it, who are starving and don't have food. Coming back to this discussion, so I said, what are you going to do? Well, I am bored, and what happened, we had a chance to become millionaire. Our company is small, and all of us would have been millionaire if only a year ago, when everything was at the peak, and when our company was to be bought by another corporation, merging, we would have got so much money in the company that all of us would have become millionaires who are holding the stock. But I said, then what happened? Well, our CEO was greedy, not only greedy, he thought he will make more, but he had his ego. And something happened which he did not know, and he had just friction with the other CEO who was going to buy them, and he refused that I don't want to sell. So he did not sell the company. Had he sold, we would have been all millionaires. Now we are paupers. Stock is almost so down that we can hardly survive, and we lost the opportunity because of the ego trip of our CEO. These are the words I am hearing. It was the ego trip of the CEO that he did not sell the company, he did not look at the good of other people, we who were working. He lost out his money and we also lost out. Now, this is where we are. We have still survived, the company is still doing, but we are worth only 1/10 of what we were about a year and a half ago. So I said, what are you going to do? Well, I am bored and I see that I have no chance to advance. So now see that I have to go in management, not in technical work. Technical work has put me limitations. I see no chance to become a millionaire. That is his goal, millionaire. Not love, not peace, not joy with his wife or family or friends or fine time. At any cost, I must become millionaire. Here is your culture, your Bay Area culture. The whole world is wanting that. Bay Area is only an engine. The rest are all the bogies behind it. And however the Bay Area and Silicon Valley moves, San Jose moves, the world moves. If San Jose stops, the world stops. And you are the engine. You are the engine of this technology or computer science or communication or whatever we say. So then he says, well, I must go in management because that is where the scope is, where I can move up. And that is the only chance now I have for becoming a millionaire. This way, I see no chance. These guys who make decisions are MBAs. And I said, what is MBAs? That is a Master of Business Administration. We have to learn to administer, go into management. That is where unlimited scope. And so I want to go and do my MBA. Now MBA is a big business. All of you know how all the universities, all these big universities have made a business out of it. They have fed this thing in the minds of people that unless you are MBA, you will not advance. And all the CEOs, most of them were MBAs, you know what they caused to their companies. They have robbed the poor. The greedy investors also have been robbed. And of course, greed will lead to greed and they all pay for it, yet they don't learn. The bigger greedy guy and the smaller greedy guys, but they're all fundamentally greedy. But all these MBAs have not helped to stabilize, rather have increased their greed. And yet, they have put in their mind that unless you have MBA, you are not going to be rich. Sometimes I like to say, unless you are an MBA, you won't be a crook. These crooks who get more education to rob the poor don't care for the company or product or the world. They care for themselves. How quickly I can become billionaire, how much more money and unlimited greed. Nobody is here to serve people. No. Not the Dharma gurus, not the president of the country, nor the presidents of the university, nor the president of the General Motors and corporations. They are here to fill their pockets. And their pockets are so big, like Pacific Ocean, that they don't know when they will be satisfied. They are not here to serve you. Be sure that the presidents of the universities are not interested in teaching, they are interested in making money, how much money they can make, and scratch each other's back. I also heard that major decisions of the corporations are not made in the seminars, in the secret meetings in the company, but on the golf course. On the golf course, all the CEOs meet and play golf, and they drink their beer, and then they make decision that yes, you do this and I will do this for you. You do this for me, I will do this for you. That is where they make decisions on the golf course, and then they say, okay, now in our meetings we'll have spent hours and hours make long notes, but this is the decision we have made in 5 minutes. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. You make money, I make money, let the poor suffer. These greedy fellows who are invested, nobody cares for them. Coming back to this friend of mine, then I said, now what have you got in your head? What worm has got in your head? I said. Well, I have to do MBA in order to advance. I have a job, I don't have a threat, they are not telling me to leave. I see there is no problem as much as I can see. Of course, there is no security anyway, but he thinks there is no problem at the now. The company says there is no problem of layoff. Whatever they have laid off, this fellow has survived. But even then he says, no, I am not secured. I got to go to MBA so that I can advance. Now, with this decision, the next thing says, well, but if I have to do MBA, I must go to Stanford. I got 7 universities listed in numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I don't remember all this, but I think he mentioned some in Berkeley and some in Harvard or something in the East. So he made a list, and I said, "What is this list based on?" Then he says, "If you go to Stanford and get MBA, you get $87,000 start. If you go to Harvard, you may get $85,000 start. If you go to Berkeley, you may get $83,000 a year start." So here now the value of our MBA is based on how much you are going to earn. No interest in education, no interest in serving the Lord or even himself or his peace. He is simply thinking about dollars, not education. Which education will give me more dollars that ultimately make me sick and lose my peace? But nobody is teaching that, no, not even in the church. Those greedy fellows are worse than these corporation CEOs, those who teach us in the churches and the temples. So, coming back to this, then he has decided to leave the job on his own. While we know how insecure this whole area is, he wants to give up the job. He wants to sell his property because now he cannot support. So he will sell his home. He will move somewhere wherever he gets this admission and borrow the money to get this education so that someday when he gets MBA, he will look forward to advance. He is selling all his stability for this future dream. His wife who is working will have to move. She will be uncertain what job she will do. Maybe she will get in a rate that she has to get MBA also. And thus, what we feed to our young people, the culture of dollars, convert everything into dollars, the education, even the family life, even the marriage, everything we must convert into dollar. What is the dollar value of this particular thing? What is the dollar value of this human being? What is this man worth? That is what our culture is. Bigger the better. That's why bigger the body, bigger the sickness. I will be talking about that, what young people are going through the pain of this desire and lust. And yet we want to become the same because our culture leads us, directs us, points out that that should be the goal, which is totally opposite to what Gita is teaching, to what Jesus Christ and our true spiritual teachers and prophets, avatars, God like Mirabai and all who have taught, whom we worship, whose pictures we keep in the churches, whose books we read, Bibles and Gita, and yet this is what we really do. We don't mean what we read. We have nothing to do what we say about these books. We just get headlong into this world of lust and greed and go on increasing it and increasing. Now these desires, as we are talking about, if we look at this next slok, and I would come to this slok, I think we covered the last slok was slok 57. We are going to move on. What Lord is saying here in our Sthita Pragya, or one who is wise, Yada samharate cha ayam kurma anganiva sarvashaha indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya pragya pratishtita. When a tortoise, if you have observed a tortoise, I think we all see once in a while if we walk in the forest or in rainy days, sometimes they cross even the roads. Those tortoises I actually observed, and I did play with that a little bit to find out what Gita is teaching is true or not, and it is true. God has taken examples that are universal. This tortoise, when he has danger, when he feels danger coming around, then he withdraws all his organs in his forelegs and his head. He has a long head, little head like a camel's long neck. He withdraws everything underneath, and then his body protects him, so that even if you throw a stone at him, it would not hurt. But otherwise his legs and his neck are very delicate and they will be hurt. So he knows that when there is danger, he withdraws his organs. This is what Lord is teaching us, just like that indriyani indriyarthebhya tasya pragya pratisthita. He is the wise man who will withdraw his organs when they see the objects of desires that will be dangerous and will hurt him. And it comes through our organs, eyes, nose, ears, skin, smell. So if we withdraw this thing inward, and inward is the word, it is the inward. Remember this word, not outward. We are going in a very wrong direction. Whatever the world we are doing, actually we should go in the opposite direction. That's what the Gita and saints are telling us. So when we see the objects of desires, we go to mall, we see all these windows, the goods that they put, this thing we will be going outward. We want to buy, we want to shop, then we will have to earn. So every life is all oriented outward. While the peace is inside, he says we should do what the tortoise is doing. When our organs, our eyes and ears go outwardly and after music and beauty, we are told that we should rather withdraw them inside, because the real beauty is inside, real music is inside, real dance is within us, and yet we are taught to go outside. So as soon as our senses come in the contact of the objects, it is a danger. And when we see the danger, we must try to withdraw this rather than go after it. So when young people are told go after it, we are told go inward. Don't go after these enemies of ours, the objects of desires, they will destroy us. This is a beautiful advice, and yet this is not taught in the school, and we are learning for 6 years, and this something that can be taught in 1 hour, we were never told, because our goal is money, our goal is unhappiness, our goal is sickness, our goal is tension, and running around crisscrossing. Nobody cares for anybody. We don't care for ourselves. How can we help others? We don't care for our own peace. So here then God is telling us that this is how you want to find peace. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopiyasyam param drastva nivartate. If nirahara means if we will fast, if we can fast, if we can keep away from the object of desires, food particularly, beauty, right nowadays we see as if a woman's body is on sale. Everywhere, whatever we sell, whether it's an engine, whether it's clothes, woman's picture is put there as if woman is for sale. Lust for flesh. Women are our mother, but the culture, you look at everything around you and you will see that we have made our mother as an object of desire. A woman who is supposed to be our mother, who is a symbol of love. God Himself has said that, and yet our love for lust and flesh has caused us to lose all our senses. We are so sick that we don't even know we are sick, and yet nobody is awakening us, unfortunately. So here we have an opportunity that we must start fasting. We are overeating. Let's take the question of eating. Eating alone is one of the biggest problems we have. We are eating more and more because we are not happy. We are not eating because we need nourishment. But our mind is sick, we are bored on the job. Every half an hour we get up, go to the machine and get a candy or coffee or tea or some soft drink because we are sick. Our mind is not at peace. We don't enjoy the work. So what we do, we simply go and eat, keeping our mind busy eating, and there is a limitation of eating. Big corporations, junk food places, they feed us, they eat more. Servings are getting bigger. Our bodies are getting bigger. Here Lord says we need to fast. We are overeating. And unless we fast and unless we come down from our love for food, we are always eating or we are thinking of eating. Food has become the goal, just like money. And Lord here says that we must fast. We must fast not just food but all the organs, like eyes running after the worldly beauty or the music that we are crazy about, or the perfumes, the smell. All these organs are uh, driving us in so many directions. Like in Bhagavad, Sri Krishna says, it's like a man who has several wives and each wife pulling him in several directions. Every man has at least 5 wives, 5 organs that are pulling them in several directions. And you can imagine, if one wife is a problem, imagine 5, and vice versa, if one woman had 5 husbands. These organs then are putting us in trouble. They pull us in different directions. We run around, wander, and find no peace. So Lord says the best thing to do is to stop eating, stop looking outside. So if we do that, the fasting is what is recommended to us. Control our food. Really, we wouldn't need to fast if we did not overeat. But eating has become a job or a joy or an entertainment, a hobby if you want to call. We see our kitchens and our refrigerators and our food stores full of food. Everywhere we think about food. Here Lord says we must start. This desire for food, is desire for sex, is desire for lust, is desire for temporary thing that's going to cause us difficulties, which we are already suffering, the disease that they have created, obesity, and the problems associated with it. So Lord says we must fast. But fasting is not that simple. Even if we fast, there is a taste that is left. We will not eat today. We decided we are not going to eat today, but we are thinking about food, what we are going to eat tomorrow. Or sometimes when we fast, we think, well, I will eat only once instead of 3 times. Then about that eating once, we talk so much about it. We want some special food. We run around all places to find those special foods and special fruits that we wonder what we were fasting for. We would have been rather eating what we were normally eating. We make everybody run around, so go and get mango or go and get peanuts or this special food, particularly the one we like most anyway. So even in the name of fasting, we are eating more. We are trying to only fulfill our desires, and we are not serving the purpose of fasting. And we will talk about the purpose of fasting that these saints and wise people have gone through, like Buddha and Muhammad and Mahatma Gandhi and Jesus and Mirabai. All of them were fasting. So we will come to that, but Lord says that even if you fast ordinarily, your taste for food does not die. So we will have to look for that the taste that we have in our mind does not die out, and that will be revived like a tree cut down, but the roots are there. As soon as it rains, the plant will start growing. We have noticed that. Similarly, as soon as we start seeing food again, we will be even eating twice as much and would do more harm to our stomach than we would have otherwise if we would have eaten regularly but under measure like medicine. Food must be eaten like medicine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.